Thank you.
We're here to show, with all these other people, our disappointment with the governor signing the abortion bill that restricts a woman's right to choose. It's very disappointing that he chose to do that, and obviously the majority of Virginians are here to express their displeasure at his decision. And that's why I'm here.
What are your personal thoughts on this, him signing the bill yesterday?
Well, just like the fact that he failed to show up at the time he said he was going to vote, I think he's actually trying to minimize the political fallout from this bad decision he's making. So he's trying to avoid and minimize publicity on it. But the people here today are not going to let him do that.
Thank you.
My name's Marcella Merchkowski, and I am here because, as the saying goes, freedom isn't free. You have to be constantly vigilant. And right now, we have a government that is a state government that is waging war on women, that is cutting back women's rights. And I am not going to stand for it. And I'm lucky my husband's the same way. He's here with me. And there's hundreds of us who will do, and thousands. What I'm wearing is part of a petition of 30,000 people who, 30,000 people in Virginia who signed up in solidarity with us to protest these laws. And we're gonna do whatever it takes. We will never go away. They may harass us. They may push beyond the permissible bounds of, time, place, and manner restrictions against an essential free speech activity. And what they did last week was rounding people up who were occupying a tiny section of steps peacefully, not obstructing anyone, and then holding them in a bus for hours. One woman spent 8 hours with her hands handcuffed behind her back without any access to a drink of water or bathroom facilities. That kind of harassment is completely uncalled for. I mean, when you're talking about these kinds of laws that are basically, the term of art is time, place, and manner restrictions, where they can schedule protests. There has to be a compelling state interest, and it has to be as narrowly tailored as possible to meet that compelling state interest. Here, they just blew it all out of the water. They just trampled all over our rights, just to harass us, just to save Governor McDonald's tender, delicate sensitivities from the vision of citizens who rightfully disagree with him. But we won't go away. We're not going away. We can't go away. We have 6 grown kids and 3 grandkids, and I'm doing this for them. And I won't quit, not till my last breath.
Thank you.
My name is Eileen Davis, and I'm here today because I think that we really need to stand firm against the war on women. There's a conservative jihad brewing in this country. When I think back to the 1965 is the first time that we had to actually have the Supreme Court allow women to have access to contraception, and it took a Supreme Court ruling in 1972 that allowed unmarried women to have access to contraception. I don't think people realize that today. I know back before 1965, a woman had to get permission from her husband or her parents parents to have contraception. I mean, even a 30-year-old professional needed to get permission from her parents, if she wasn't married, to be on birth control. We've come a long way, but I was alive then. I remember it. I remember marching for equal rights amendment, which we still don't have, by the way. And I think that we need to understand that the conservative jihad that's underway now is eroding these rights. And if we don't stand as a sea of women and say, no, 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 you will not take us back. I mean, we are not going to wake up from a 40-year nap and find us right back where we started from. There are young women here. There are old women here. There are middle-aged women here. There are men here, men who have women that they care about, men who have daughters, men who have granddaughters. And this is about men as well, because men have to understand that when you take away family planning rights from women, you take away family planning rights from everyone, because, you know, a planned pregnancy is a healthier pregnancy. I'm a healthcare professional, and I understand that when a woman is planning a pregnancy, she takes vitamins, she gets enough rest, she avoids alcohol, you know, all of the things that happen in a surprise pregnancy that she may not. So planning a pregnancy and being able to take responsible contraception is an extremely important part of health of women, of health of families, and of health of the babies that will be born of pregnancies that are planned. And I think that we need to understand there are a lot of health consequences here. The idea that 50% of all women who take contraception do it for medical reasons. You know, you take away the access of contraception through the personhood bill, and the law of unintended consequences is all over it. I mean, does a woman of childbearing age automatically be able to go into the HIV lane because she qualifies as two persons? I mean, that's in the bill as it stands now. And the personhood bill is not dead. It's just going to sit till next year so they can test the climate and see whether or not they can roll it out and try to put it through again. Well, we're going to keep the heat on them to let them know that no, you need to take personhood, and you need to realize it's a ridiculous bill. It's a bill that makes IVF illegal. It's a bill that makes freezing an embryo murdering a child. It's a bill that is medically unsound. It doesn't make any sense. It's a ridiculous bill with many unintended consequences, and we need to make that. So we're here today to keep the pressure on to say we are not going backwards. The incantation of women prior to 1965 is not going to come back. Women own their own choices, and women own the right to be able to plan their families, have adequate, responsible contraception with their partners, and the men that care about them should care about that as well.
Thank you.
This is the actual moment.
Thank you everyone for coming out tonight. We're here tonight to mourn the loss of our reproductive rights, of women's reproductive rights in the state of Virginia. We're mourning the passage of the ultrasound for us. This is an old story about the Apache women who waited on the mesa and overlooked as their husbands and their brothers and their fathers and their sons were killed by the U.S. armies. And they cried tears that fell down into the rocks and became their Apache tears. And they basically have all of the strength and the spirit, thank you Tim, of an Apache woman and of women mourning powerfully. So that's what we're here to do tonight. We're going to be moving into a silent period for a little bit, and we thank everyone who's come out on every other day, and who's supported, who's wrote letters, who's wrote emails, who's spoken loudly with their words and spoken loudly with their silence. And we love you all, and we're so appreciative that you've come out.
Spirit of the grieving Apache women and the strength that they have and that they had You have it in your hands. When you need to draw strength, it's there. There's other women that have gone before us, and they're in your hands now if you need to draw upon them. My gift to you.
Blow it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Don't let the governor
Blow it out. I'm gonna let it shine.
Don't let the governor blow it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Don't let the governor blow it out. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
I'm gonna let it shine. Take my light to the voting booth. I'm gonna let it shine. Take my light to the voting booth. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Take my light to the voting booth. I'm gonna let it shine. Take my light to the voting booth. I'm gonna let it shine. Take my light to the voting booth. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine. Gonna take my light to the streets. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
We're gonna take our ashes to the governor's doorstep. I'm gonna let it
I'm gonna let it shine. This light is for women's rights. I'm gonna let it shine. This light is for women's rights. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This light is for human rights. I'm gonna let it shine. This light is for human rights. I'm gonna let it shine. This light is for human rights. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
My grandmother fought for this light.
I'm gonna let it shine. My grandmother fought for this light. I'm gonna let it shine. My grandmother fought for this light. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Mic check!
Mic check.